lot of burst potential, although I believe the way Mac has been playing it has just been a conventional build-up. Something like Travel's Blink or Arcane Blink into Ags. Some not too flashy with burst. Although, I love this. Mac, he's queuing up the phylactery.
Yeah.
I didn't see him do this last time.
Oh, here we go. Akashi's asking, Thompson or Maxon? It's a legitimate question, Jonathan. Akashi's trying to butter him up right now while he can, before Maxon shows up.
We'll see if Mac does pop off. Of course, Akashi and Mac sharing that bond.
That's his
from
new
old Polaris.
That's his new nickname every
Maxon.
time he's playing well, John. Mac becomes Maxon every single time he plays well.
You know, it's not even too far off from his real name, which is McNicholson anyway. So he technically is already a Maxon.
Very pot. There you go, Jonathan. McNicholson is the name of it. Never heard of that name before in my lifetime. McNicholson. It's a hard one to say.
Mac and then Nicholson. Yeah.
Mac
I know.
Nicholson.
Yeah, it's very American, isn't it?
It is
for
very
good old
American.
Mac.
I mean, they should just call him Big Mac, Jonathan. You just go full out on the American.
Oh God.
Which we aren't sponsored by, so we won't mention them ever again, Jonathan. onto the bounty routes. Top lane. There might be a bit of a fight to break up.
The battle begins.
I mean, you've got the Avalanche to play with. When he's going to cop and Illuminate, so they will be able to get a 3-for-1 trade here for Geek Fam. So a very nice start here for Geek Fam to get this game number 2 underway. And I already want to see exactly what happens in this mid lane. You've got Mac on the Rubik. He's going to be up against the mid Ember of Chuen. John, who should have the advantage in this mid lane matchup?
I've seen this a couple of times, and I think we've seen it at least once before in one of the games you've casted. I do feel like this is something that Rubik is pretty alright with. Like, he can Fade Bolt down, the Flame Guard. Chuen can't really dodge that too well. I mean, he could with Slight, but the cast point of Fade Bolt is pretty quick, so it's a little bit harder. Initial levels are a little bit better for the Ember, but it's not going to be unplayable for Mac. As long as his mana juggling is fine. That's the one thing that holds the Rubik mid down. How costly Fade Bolt spam is for his mana pool. He only has about 4 spell uses, so that's what it's going to amount down to. Chuen should have a little bit more breathing room every single time, and he just has to respect the bolt and the right clicks. You are right-clicking pretty hard in Mac. Again, he has decent range advantage, so I have to watch for that. You're not going to be able to apply as much harassment with the Flame Guard here as you would in other lane matchups.
Have a look at this top lane as well here. John Cox and Jing against Ponyo and Akashi. They're just constantly keeping this creep wave right by this large camp as Cox finally will be able to pull some of the creeps away, but can't meet them with his own creep wave, so the equilibrium's still pretty messed up. Meanwhile, Akashi, though, taking so much damage, is not going to die. Jing will not be able to finish off the kill, but it kind of shows you the threat of the Tiny Keeper of the Light combination of the offlaners. Well, bottom lane now is Skewer back in onto Skem. Skem being pushed back towards the tier 1 tower. And he's going to be just fine. But unlike last game, John, these side lanes, they do seem as though they have a lot of kill threat this game around.
Certainly it does. I like the kill threat on the side of Geek Fam up top a lot more. It's much more straightforward. Just Avalanche into Illuminate, and you're basically melting half HP. It's a little bit more convoluted for Talon down bot for WS and Jokam. They have to land the Bushwhack, and maybe set up for the Bushwhack with a Shockwave. Even then, skewering back something like the Clockwork isn't necessarily the easiest kill with Battery Assault running, so there's a lot of space for Natsumi to just play around it as well. The farming pace for Natsumi isn't too bad either. You're not slowing him down with WS at all, so the Morphling should be able to find that initial build-up. And it is a little bit smoother going for Natsumi in comparison to Akashi's top. That early threat on his life with Jing and Cox just leading him to play a little bit more defensively. Not too much Ponyo can do to really stop that. Again, the power of the Kotl here is that with Illuminate, you're basically not too scared of whatever the Ench decides to bring out. You can easily melt through her Enchanted creep, and you can always line up with this aggressive positioning from Jing to look for these kill opportunities as they come.
I just had a thought to myself as well, John. Like, could you imagine, like, this is for Birmingham, right? Like ESL One Birmingham. Could you imagine Geek Fam qualifiers with a player like Cox in his name, with a crowd like that? Could you imagine the chance that are going to happen here for Geek Fam if they actually made it to Birmingham? It'd be amazing. It's like a dream come true. In fact, I want them to win now. I'm just going to go outright and say this top lane, Jing is down. I don't care, Jonathan, because Cox is alive. The dream is still alive.
Cox in the arena dream. Love and true. Would love to see that crowd chanting it, you know, and I hope they have crowd mics ready for Birmingham. Alphon and Birmingham with Cox? Oh, don't get me too excited here.
The dream. I might have to book a ticket right now, Jordan. Top lane. I mean,
let's see if they can carry through.
It's dropping. He's dropping rather low here on this Luna. In fact, they're going to make the jump in on Jing, or rather Ponyo. Jing is the one jumping Ponyo here as they do take down the edge. It's such a strong combo. Like, once you land that avalanche toss combination, there's just no survival. There's Natsumi now bottom lane. Will be skewered underneath the T1 tower, but is going to be just fine. It seems like all the action is up at top lane, where Geek Fam is still having a look around for the Luna. They will miss out, but Ponyo needs to be somewhat careful, because he just came back, but he will be left alone.
Where are you going?
They do not have the Illuminate. Well, now they do. Never mind. Here we go again. Ponyo going to be targeted, but the Illuminate is off the mark. I do not believe it hit Ponyo. It may not matter anyway, but no, it does. He is able to walk out of there. Now Joe Cam will move in and take down Skem. Hawk still trying to snipe the Ench, is not going to quite get there. In fact, that last Illuminate may have landed. It may have just been a raindrop that blocked most of the damage.
Yeah, I think it did. Ponyo hanging on by a sliver of HP, does manage to get a good use out of the Nature's Attendants as well. This emphasis on top is something that I appreciate from Geek Fam. It is a course correction from Game 1. They are looking to pressure Akashi as much as possible, make this uncomfy for the Luna to try to farm back into. And it is giving a lot of free space down bot, although...
Yeah, Natsumi almost got caught out there, just barely able to strength morph in time before WS was in with the skewer. For Natsumi, it certainly doesn't look as smooth of a game as Game 1 was for him on that Luna. Definitely a much more challenging time here against WS's Magnus. To be fair to Natsumi, he has been left alone this whole time. Mid lane, speaking of being alone, Chuen will get jumped. Not just the initial avalanche damage. Still going to get trapped in the cogs though. Chuen not level 6, so should go down. They will continue to try and they will get him eventually. Ponyo, he has rotated here and so has Joe Cam, but they are a bit too late to the party.
Again, really good reads coming out from Geek Fam, playing to this early magical damage that they do have. Having this presence and Scam Widow rotations has been on point. Getting that really good wraparound through the rear of the Tier 1, outside of vision for Chuen to kind of play with. They will manage to secure, at the very least, the Arcane Rune for Chuen to play with, though. So that should allow some play for Ember now as well.
Top lane.
But they lost some wards as well. Vision game is a bit lacking here.
Akashi, he just could not escape the supports of the side of Geek Fam. Though this time around they missed the toss. Skem, he's the one to get caught out, and Akashi's down. So Jing, he messes up with the toss. He ran out of mana for the avalanche, and I was just saying the Luna could not escape, but she just casually walks out.
And the cogs was right under the tower as well for Skem. Maybe trying to desperately line up for that kill, but it's just not quite enough burst if you don't manage to fully connect there with Jing. And Akashi's going to be really happy off the back of that kill. It's a good amount of gold to try to bounce back in. That's his Morbid Mask flying out. So he's self-sustainable now in the jungle. And he can just dip into that jungle considering the risks that the lane has brought out with Geek Fam's activity. And the big parts here for Geek Fam is again a lot of free space for Natsumi. There's not much threat from the Magnus early on. WS can't really do too much to stop that Morphling farming. And it could end up being a little bit of a flip from the last game where you will get that catch-up coming for that morph. Ponyo.
They have found the inch again. Ponyo, still a tanky boy, but not quite tanky enough by the seams of it as Jing. Will be able to secure the kill on the Tiny this time around. This little pickup again here from Geek Fam. In fact, rotations from Cox down towards the bottom. Skep's trying to move in onto WS. Skewer away is there, but they've got the Solar Bind, they've got the Urn, and they've got the damage with the Illuminate. Skem will secure a kill onto WS. And boy, oh boy, I mean, Cox is not looking to slow down anytime soon. Very close now to that Spirit Vessel timing. He just wants to keep moving across the map and setting up kills. Chuen misses the chains onto Mac. Mid lane, so they could not lock down the Rubik. Still trying for the Power Rune, does end up picking it up, but Cox is around the corner and there's just too much damage. Flying in from the Coddle, forcing Talon to just move back. Geek Fam, this time around, they'll get Mac away.
They don't manage to quite find a kill, but the pressure is mounting onto Talon. The one thing that Geek Fam does lack off the back of this movement is tower pressure. think that's what's missing. Like, yeah, you managed to drive the Ember away. You are shoving that creep wave onto mid, but you're not able to really try to gun down these objectives. Your push isn't quite there from the heroes outside of lane shoving.
They actually lock this man down. And not. Spirit Form was popped. They're looking for the Solar Bind, and they do get it eventually, but JoeCam, oh, he's going to go down. Just too much of a bonus. With the Solar Bind to fly out, like, you've just got so much magic damage already. Geek Fam, they are well and truly abusing it.
Yeah, they are. And I love this presence of mind from Cox to just play aggressive. Just constantly hunting, looking for these pickoffs, looking to capitalize with this huge magic damage spike they have early. And this is something that they have to do over and over against WS.
Yeah, he'll get the skewer away. Skem was not quite within range to try and cancel the battery assault. He could have thought about the cogs, but just was not going to work anyway. They'll still be happy with the amount of time they've bought Natsumi on the Morphling. Natsumi able to just casually go through this bottom tier 1 tower now. They are lacking a creep wave, so he will not stick around. So far, so good for Geek Fam. It's another game where they're just having a pretty strong start. Talon obviously looking to try and slow this game number 2 down as much as they possibly can. For now, though, Geek Fam in complete control.
And the key for Talon is stopping any sort of follow-up push. Again, playing to the weaknesses of Geek Fam, where they can find these pickoffs for sure, but where does the tower chip damage really come in from? No big sources, Jing.
They're trying for the tiny, but Jing's well and truly safe. Skem's going to rotate onto the end. Jing actually moved back in, so he is going to die. He will trade his life for Ponyo. In fact, a nice hook shot from Skem will land on Akashi. They'll get the Solar Bind out. Akashi, he does not have much gameplay here. Hox is right behind. And Skem going to lock him down another time, thanks to the Chakra Magic. So you give Jing away, but you find 2 for the trouble. And one of them was Akashi on the Luna, the top of the net worth board Akashi. That is not great news if you're Talon.
It's a major kill to find for Geek Fam. It stops this push attempt up top as well. Talon's starting to group around bot, but Natsumi's not a very easy target to go for. His mana isn't that healthy though. But
He's got one charge.
The lockdown's just... Yeah, the lockdown's just a little bit lacking here as well. Without the RPU ready for WS. The chain lockdown onto Morph just doesn't feel feasible. They've got the room now as well to play with the siege creep down mid. And I love the wards that Geek Fam's just showing. They spot you in.
Yeah, he's been locked down again. Nice toss up here from Jing. He's still trying to get away. Oh, he just can't make it. It's so rough. Just so much lockdown flying in here between Mac and Jing. Now, you don't have a remnant out already, so he just gets taken down so easily here on the Ember. Meanwhile, Jing going to find Ponyo on the end. Does land with the avalanche into the toss. No. Did not have Mac within range to get the toss back. In fact, he was out of mana anyway. So he wasn't going to get it, even if he wanted to.
And for Talon, it's a real passive game now. You've got to farm in WS. You've got to farm on Akashi. Even Chuen needs to have this Mage Slayer up to really be effective in these fights. And all of that is still a miles off. It's a lot of room for Geek Fam to just find these pushes, because they will just blow up Akashi.
It's Skem and Cox. They just keep rotating onto the Luna. And just look at the damage that Cox is doing. Is JoeCam just dead? The Spirit Vessel just ticking him out? He is.
Yeah.
Last tick of the Spirit Vessel takes him down. Meanwhile, mid lane, they might at least find Mac, but the rotations are incoming. Mac, who will have help on the way in just a moment. Here comes Natsumi. Chuen!
Oh!
Oh boy, that's gonna hurt. That was just too much. Too much burst damage too quickly. And Mac, he doesn't even go down. He gets a regen rune on top.
Everything you could ask for on the side of Geek Fam. Talon, they're playing right into Geek Fam's game plan. Just playing into this aggression that they have no business being in the middle of. Akashi, I mean, he decides to farm up top, but they're camping around the triangle. If he steps too far forward, he's not going to be in a good spot. They've got the reach.
They certainly do. Hook shot perfect from Skem. A perfect angle right after the creep wave. Just even without the Keeper of the Light, Akashi, he's just nowhere near the level he needs to be at to survive these initial ganks. Geek Fam just finding another freebie for themselves. As they go into the mid lane now. Just no slowing down to this side. Jing's onto another. He's going to find the Hoodwink at JoeCam. He's going to try to go for a run, but there's just no running. Cox will show up to claim a free kill.
They've just got to bleed out these supports As long as it's not someone like Akashi, WS, or
Chuen.
Chuen dying. Oh,
I mean, you just said it, John. Chuen's gonna get tossed back in the back. He has one remnant. We'll throw it out and does get
Oh.
away as they do skewer back Jing and Jing. Jing is gonna die. So this time around, they'll get punished. Mind you, that was right by the high ground of Talon.
This guy totally knows what he's
There you go, John.
Yeah.
That's you.
Jing bought it. I didn't know he did. Oh, what a lad. Jing. Oh, using it gets talent. Oh.
What can you do, John? WS to find another scam. Get caught out here, though. He's a bit of a tanky target. Still not down. Will finally die. This Chuen is just dropping like a fly in Akashi. Akashi's not safe either. It's a 3-for-1 trade.
Oh, God.
In the favor of Geek Fam, they only lose the clockwork. Hey, look at the bright side, John. At least they bought your voice line. Good news.
I mean, Geek Fam did. Thank you, Alphon. That's all Alphon's work, I'm sure. I'll give him credit where it's due. Best manager in C as
Now play
Geek
mine,
Fam.
Geek. Play my voice line.
Dire's middle tower
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. You know, you can let him know in the lobby.
I'll let him know.
You know, let him
A
know
quick
about it.
message.
Yeah. That last fight for Talon just so messy. Like they're trying to fight clumped up now. They don't manage to even pop the RP on WS. They just try. They're trying to play off the back of these blink skewer backs, but the burst damage isn't that quick. You still have to respect how much sustain Geek Fam has, especially if they manage to use Illuminate on themselves with a spirit form. Like the healing is just a stupid amount. Considering the lack of damage right now on Talon. Talon has to still play the slow game. As long as their tier 2 stand for maybe the next 5 to 10 minutes and they only drop supports in the pickoff game, I think that's Talon's ways back. It's just how much can you avoid this kind of aggressive movement with Jing and Blink and the range of Cox? I don't know if you can avoid it for that long.
Ponyo has been caught again by the looks of it. Scam does have a hook shot if he needs. Oh, uphill miss.
Miss.
There's your hook shot. Scam was just waiting, just in case he needed it. And he did.
Yeah. I wanted to give it to Natsumi if possible, but unfortunately, high ground miss. You do sometimes get that. Should line up for a little bit of a shove onto the mid lane. And they've got control again. Really good forward wards coming out from Geek Fam. That's something that's been consistent since game 1. The vision game, their understanding of where to get this info and how to use that info has been pretty on point. Talon, they've got to play defensive. Akashi's hugging the complete opposite side of the map, just trying to farm. They've still got this Blink RP ready in WS. They just need to find an opportunity to use it. Even then, I just don't know if you have enough damage.
Avalanche, toss, WS, he's the target, and just look at him blow up.
Dire's middle tower.
Oh my
man.
goodness. Like, Solar Bind plus Adaptive Strike plus a Fade Bolt, and he's just dead. There was a Dagon in the middle of all that too, apparently, from our Ruby.
Yeah. Mac is just going for Dagon 5 now, which I like.
Why not?
You know, when you're winning this hard, you just try to crush them. Prevent any sort of comeback. Just go for the burst play.
Radiant's
Ponyo's
top
going to
tower
narrowly
is under
avoid
attack.
gank that
Radiant
wasn't
are
coming, though. I say that, never mind. John, my apologies to Ponyo for the old caster's curse. They will just slowly but surely look to tick away at the damage as at the HP pool as Ponyo just gets deleted by Mac. It's one of those games when you're playing with your friends, Jonathan. You know, you just KS each other. That's how one-sided this is.
Pretty much at this point. For Talon, their big, I guess their big timing that they're going to have to wait for is like BKBs here.
He's alright. Kashi makes it out this time. BKBs,
They
you
need
say,
the-
John?
Yeah, they need this BKB up in Akashi. He can start to hold his ground, start to try to get some hits in. You're mainly magical damage right now on the side of Geek Fam. You've kind of gone all in on magic damage at this moment as well. So when you get some debuff immunity up, it's going to be pretty strong for Talon. Mind you, you only get, what, 50% magic res, which is pretty bad
Radiant's bottom tower is
considering
under
burst still,
attack.
but it helps in a massive amount.
Yeah, it looks like Joe Cam. He needed some help, but it just was not coming. Jing has been absolutely fantastic in this position for Tiny. Bottom lane, even more kills happening. Skem has found Ponyo. Ponyo will tie to the take on of Mac.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But
Dire's
my
top tower
goodness, is this a
fallen.
stomp?
And they're just gunning down Bambi. Legitimately, this is just a gun down with the Phylactery and Dagon.
This is Power World.
It's just...
This is
Yeah.
how Power World looks.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Probably
Dire's
is.
top tower
Never...
is under
I
attack.
haven't tried it, Mike. Have you?
Really? No, I haven't either, Jonathan.
Oh.
I thought you would have tried.
There you go.
That's why I bring it up.
Oh. I'm not the biggest fan of Ark-style, Rust-style survival games.
Okay.
They get really boring. For me, I don't know. Like, I
When?
get bored very fast.
Twin might be getting rather bored, John, because he's been dying quite a lot. Top lane, he'll be able to get away this time around, though he does remnant into Mac. But Mac was not paying attention. Look at his team. Mac, what are you doing? He remnanted to you, Mac. What are you doing?
Max on. Max on. Max on.
Definitely not Max in this game,
all this
Jonathan.
At least not for that little play.
Kashi.
I'd say overall he has been.
Kashi goes down mid lane. Schwen, still not safe yet apparently, but he will be alright to walk his way out. Just no matter where you look, someone's getting sniped. And it's always Talon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they have no tools to play against this. Again, the vision game from Geek Fam's been on point. They've got every lane under control. Jokam.
Sharpshooter away. You don't really have a toss target here for Jing. The Jing's going to do this on his own. Jing, walk up a bushwhack. There is help incoming here from Mac. Jokam still playing with fire, waiting for his team to just join him here for this fight. Jokam getting oh my god! What is that? What is that?
It's a core Rubik, ladies and gentlemen.
Ponyo.
My favorite mid.
I mean, it's something. Ponyo. It'll be a slow but sure depot. Never mind, Scam. Bit of a miss on the hook shot. It happens, Jonathan. It happens to the best of us. It won't matter though, because he just dives to a neutral creep anyway. Doesn't matter. I suppose that's a win for Talon.
That is. You know, you take every little inch you can find on Talon, mitigate losses, get this farm up, eventually get these BKBs up on WS and on Akashi, and all you have to do is stall. Sacrifice your supports. Toss Ponyo out, toss Bambi out to die, because that's all Ponyo will be able to do for quite a long while here. The one great thing for Talon is their high ground defense. Right? Like, even if they lose their last outer tower and they're stuck on the high ground, you have the threat of Blink RP. You can try to play off the back of that, and once that BKB is up, it starts to materialize a lot better. I would say they need to take care of this vision game from Geek Fam. This ward is just never going to get scouted out. And that will give just so many angles for Geek, as they're already gunning for that smoke. They have a really good idea as to where Talon's playing if they want to force this out.
Chuen. Avalanche toss. Jing setting up. Oh, Chuen survived at about 100 HP that time around. That's just so sad. If you haven't got Flame Guard running, they can just burst you from max to like 1%. It's top lane, Skip. Does get caught in the cogs, but they might be the ones caught with him. So they do commit an RP for the clockwork, but in comes Cox. He wants Akashi, and he knows he can do it on his own, as even the Centaur's trying to help out. Akashi, with the BKB TP away, he is going to make on for more they look for. They will miss out on Bambi. Ponyo is fine.
It's a kill for Talon, and you take every little inch you can, but committing RP and 1 BKB is pretty massive. That's an opening for Geek Fam. The issue is, again, piercing this high ground is not the easiest thing in the world for Geek right now, as I mean, they've got all the outer towers cleared out, but the threat of high ground just hasn't cleared up for them. They could try for Roshan. They are kind of setting up for it with Natsumi just taking it solo. This should provide the angle in for them. Even Natsumi, and he's also going for that Conda build, so all the magical burst in the world we could ask for. Talon, I don't see them contesting this, not without RP. It's going to be a freebie for Geek, and this is when they should start to look for the high ground, because I feel like if you drag this game out, again, we're 22 minutes in. If this goes to 35 to 40, you still have that ace in your sleeve with the Morphling, and of course the stolen spells of Rubik, but Talon starts to have some sort of game to play.
Chuen does get caught. Avalanche tosses out, chains are up from Natsumi, and Chuen is just down. Jing has just been absolutely fantastic in this game number 2, just constantly setting up for his team. And I'll tell you what, Talon are going to be having nightmares about this Tiny after this game too, I'll tell you, John.
For sure. Like, this is, again, just the kind of performance that we've seen from Jing whenever he does pick this Tiny up a lot in the close and open qualifiers. Ward is spotted by the sentry down bot, I believe, if someone walked up, but sentry is set to expire in a few seconds, so they've got that opening for the high ground, they've got the info, they can kind of preempt the team fight as well from Talon. They do have Blink RP, but 2 lives in Natsumi is hard to clear out.
That it certainly is. They have to try.
Structures are fortified.
Lift will be forced. That might be enough for Geek Fam to just retreat, and it will be. You've still got 4 minutes on the Aegis. You can always wait for another time, but no, never mind. They want to go now. RP was committed. They found one target, but Scam, he lands a 4-man hook shot. And that'll be Chwen almost going down, barely able to run it away. The rocket flare not quite enough damage. He will be just fine. Akashi in the meantime slowly walking his way out. The chase is still on Akashi. He will also barely survive.
Dire's middle barracks are under
The mid-racks are still being taken. You found Jing, but that was about it as Jokam almost getting zapped to death here by Mac on the Rubik. Natsumi, he'll get back onto that mid-racks. Still has the Aegis up. Waveform away is there. He's going to be just fine. The range racks will be lost, but Talon will be able to hold on to the melee barracks.
They force a buyback out from Cox, and they manage to hold on to at least the melee racks. It could have been much worse for Talon and Geek Fam. You're expecting them to find more. You should be able to re-engage with Jing respawning here, and with the Aegis still up for 3 minutes. No RP to worry about. Talon, options are limited going into that next fight. Might just have to surrender that in mid, but they are still flanked up around the area.
They will try for the clockwork. Skem, though, not dropping quite yet, but the Eclipse does come through. Skem might go
got
down.
one life.
Does do, and they do even find the Aegis. The Morphling will die the first time. Natsumi, not really looking like he's too afraid of losing the secondary life, but maybe if they can skewer him back, no. Manta was there just in time to break the skewer. But yeah, without the Aegis up, Talon, they might just be able to hold on to the high ground.
Maybe they do manage to hang in there. RP is going to come off cooldown as well in a few seconds. Geek Fam, without that secondary life of Natsumi, this is a risk they're taking.
They found the mid-Rubik, but the Avalanche is there from Jing to ensure the follow-up is not out, as Akashi now forced the BKB up, but he's just so darn low in terms of the HP pool. They'll lose the Magnus immediately. Natsumi's still on the chase for the Luna, and it seems as though Akashi, he's got no way out. They'll toss him right back in. Avalanche onto another. They're going to find Jokam with the Hoodwink. 3 down for the price of nothing.
are under attack.
Geek Fam, they will come back and secure that mid lane of barracks.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
And they can easily go for more. No buyback on Kashi. Just a little bit too early of a fight. They needed to wait a little bit longer for the RP to be ready. WS even popping the BKB, trying to stay alive just for a second longer to try to RP and lock down Natsumi, but it just doesn't line up. Geek Fam quick on the retake. I'm going to be able to find the spot set of racks. Respawns aren't too long. It'll only be the 2 set of racks, so very similar to how Game 1 went, with Geek Fam having this big advantage at the 26-minute mark. Talon this time have no option to split push. You know, they're not able to shove in, find a tier 3 of their own, and try to equalize from there. And Geek Fam, again, a little bit of deja vu, as it does feel like what we saw from Game 1, but a lot cleaner for Geek, pushing that early advantage much harder. Talon, they're the ones on a real bad footing right now. Like, one bad fight and their high ground just melts. They need to be able to use this blink RP on WS. It's full potential.
Akashi, he's got his team kind of nearby, but they might just burst him down before they even get there. Akashi's just gone. Dies mid-air to Jing. Just, what do you do about this? Like, Talon, they were grouped up as 4 right by him, but they just could not react quick enough.
Radiant are scattered.
They force a fight? It seems like they'll try. Who do you target? Jing, perhaps he's the target, but no, he'll get away. Instead they'll try after Mac on the Rubik, but he's perfectly fine as well. Their RP does nothing. They are still trying. Mac might finally go down, and does do so. That is 1 down for Talon, but they're going to lose Chwen. They're going to lose a couple more now as well, because Jing sets up perfectly another time. WS trying desperately to find Skem. Skem will walk away out of this, as now Akashi's the one to drop.
Oh.
No buyback available. Jokam to boot. Ponyo, he'll be the 4th one to go down. The only survival was WS, and well, GG is called. GG is called. Geek Fam, they will drag this out to a game number 3.
Dire's middle tower.
I like what I'm seeing from Geek Fam. I love this course correction from Game 1. They correct their weaker, or not weaker, but they're slower early to mid, and just capitalize on this kind of draft where they're just